allowed no runs and 4 hits. Rarely had the Dodgers split a 4-game series and felt like they won it. But they did, and they did. Now it's a change of venue. A weekend in Miami with the Marlins coming up next. It's a beautiful night for baseball. And live from Marlins Park in Miami, Florida, Sportsnet LA presents the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Miami Marlins in the first of a 3-game series. Hi again, everybody. Charlie Steiner, Oral Hershiser, and Nomar Garciaparra. Coming into this series, Dodgers made a roster move today. Pedro Baez back off the disabled list. Ian Thomas has been sent back. Brett Anderson gets a start tonight in search of his 4th win of the year.
Accepting the baton. This pitching staff sometimes has to act like the offense. Pass the baton. Just do your job. And they did it in Chicago. Mike Bolsinger goes 4 2/3, gives up 2, but he hands it over to an outstanding bullpen, and they pass the baton throughout that game, brought home a win. And then Carlos Frias, he goes 5, gives up none, and then they pass the baton behind him. Kenley Jansen finishing off both those games. Brett Anderson receiving this exchange now needs to continue what he did against San Francisco. Those 6 innings, he got a W finally. They supported him with 10 runs. He keeps the ball down. He gets ground balls. The most in the National League at 68% because of his 2-seamer and his curveball. Tonight, to be successful, Nomar, he's got to keep D. Gordon off the bases, and he's got to avoid that big bat in the middle.
Yeah, that big bat in the middle is only hitting .327 with 10 home runs versus the Dodgers, and that's Giancarlo Stanton. Boy, does he have the muscle. He's straight out of a Rocky movie for me. He's like Drago. Everything he hits, he destroys. Always hitting tape measure shots over the wall. Let's not forget the one he hit over at Dodger Stadium, well, pretty much out of Dodger Stadium when he faced them earlier in the year. So, yes, keep people off the base in front of him so you can pitch around him.
Stanton with 27 home runs on the season. And Jock Peterson has 19 for the Dodgers. Big matchup tonight. 2 of the league's leading sluggers. Dodgers and Marlins coming up next. Lineups and first pitch right around the corner. 22. Then they replaced him with Dan Jennings, and Jennings since then has led the Marlins to a 14-22 record, so not a substantial improvement at all as the Marlins take the field. Closed captioning tonight brought to you by Papa John's. And here is the lineup put together by Don Mattingly, courtesy of Honda. It'll be Jock Peterson leading off in center field and Howie Kendrick at second base. Kendrick batting second tonight. Turner at third base, Gonzalez in the cleanup spot, Scott Van Slyke in right. Alex Guerrero once again starting in left. Puig, the bad hand, keeps him sidelined. Jimmy Rollins hitting seventh. A.J. Ellis catching, batting eighth as he did yesterday. Brett Anderson pitching and batting ninth, and this is the first time we're seeing 23-year-old Justin Nicolino.
Well, in his major league debut, went 7 innings, not giving up a run with 2 base on balls and 2 Ks, as you see right there. And he features a fastball that hovers around 89 miles an hour. Not very overpowering, but he has a cutter to go with that, a curveball, and a changeup. And when you talk to people about him, they say, you know what? He just knows how to pitch, and he gets outs. It's not about getting the strikeouts. He's not afraid to pitch to contact. Dodgers seen him for the very first time. Just look for your pitch. Force him to make him throw your pitch you like, and then go ahead and be aggressive.
Defensively behind Nicolino tonight in his second big league start. Out in left field is Christian Yelich, a Gold Glove winner. Marcell Ozuna in center. Giancarlo Stanton in right. Dietrich and Echeverria on the left side of the infield. D. Gordon at second base. Jeff Baker's at first. JT Realmuto is the catcher. And Justin Nicolino, who was a big part of the trade that sent Burley and Reyes up to the Blue Jays, and now they're beginning to pay dividends with Nicolino making his second start. In the minor leagues, Nicolino spent 5 years, 102 starts, and he had a record down there, 42-17 and a 2.67 ERA. So the Marlins thinking, hoping that he is ready for prime time. Certainly in his first start against the Reds last week, he was. Struck out 2, walked 2, no runs and 4 hits in 7 innings of work. The Dodgers this year hitting just .240 against left-handed pitching, and of their 95 home runs, 12 off the southpaws, and they are 36-25 against right-handed starters, hitting about 20 points higher. So away we go. First of the 3-game series, and Jock Peterson with 19 home runs and 37 runs batted in. Howie Kendrick and Justin Turner will follow. Here's a strike, and it's 1-1. Dodgers, as we mentioned in the open, rarely do you split a series and feel like you won it. That was certainly the vibe in the clubhouse after the game and on the plane flying down to Florida last night.
They are coming into Miami here healthy instead of looking like they have to turn around a disaster of a road trip. They have a chance to have a really good road trip now if you can beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and that is for sure the Marlins and then the Diamondbacks.
Marlins are 14 games under 500, 10.5 out of first place in the Eastern Division. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jock Peterson. Mentioned over the weekend in Chicago that actually the previous 3-4 days, I don't know where we are, let alone what day. More than 50% of the time a Peterson at bat will result in a strikeout, a walk, or a home run.
Right on cue, Charlie.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about Nicolino and how he really forces those corners and pitches on those corners, and there was one down and away. Jock just looks, didn't like the call, thought it was way too low and away.
Mike Everett calling balls and strikes tonight. Now here's Howie Kendrick, who whistles one foul off to the right, and it's 0-1. Kendrick had that big double in the first inning that set the tone yesterday as the Dodgers recorded their 10th shutout of the season. Outside. Nicolino is 6'3", 190 pounds, out of Orlando, Florida, just 23. First time the Dodgers are seeing him.
Howie got a chance to rest the first day in Chicago. Kike Hernandez played second base. Seems to have done him a little bit of good. He's looking a little bit like himself again.
Interesting note about Howie Kendrick. When he drives in a run, he's done so in 20 games. Dodgers are 18-2. So he's batting second tonight. He's been third or fourth most of the year. Into center field for a base hit. So Kendrick is aboard.
Well, rarely do you see Howie pull the ball, but with his approach of taking the ball to right field with fastballs, that pitch being a changeup, he drove it right back up the middle. Ball slightly elevated, but he stays on it really well because of that right field approach and scorches that line drive to center.
So Kendrick is aboard and Justin Turner is stepping in. Turner in his first 4 years with the Orioles and Mets combined to hit about 260 with 8 home runs. Since coming to the Dodgers, 334 and 17 home runs. And at the moment, 324.
Nicolina's fastball a tick higher than the scouting report. The one game against Cincinnati, his first big league start, where he recorded the W. Showing 92 right here in the first. Scouting report had him averaging just under 90 miles an hour. Maybe as he fatigues and gets deeper into the game, he's more around 88, and that would average in there at that number.
Well, we're all seeing him for the first time. Kendrick a short lead. And a tailor-made 6-4-3 double play, and that's that. Echeverria to Gordon to Baker. No runs, 1 hit, and nobody left. Brett Anderson about ready for his 15th start of the year to face D. Gordon, Christian Yelich, and Adeiny Echeverria. From general manager to manager, and since he took over the Marlins at 14-22. Here's the Honda lineup he has put together for tonight. D. Gordon, and then Christian Yelich. Yelich, of course, a hometown kid from Thousand Oaks, Westlake High School. Adeiny Echeverria, Stanton, of course, Ozuna, Baker, Dietrich, Real Muto, and Nicolina. Brett Anderson in his 15th start. Gordon has attempted a bunt, has only 4 bunt base hits this year, but he's hitting .351. Got off to the amazing start, hitting .409 in April. Has hit .351 in May, and so far in June at .296. But when all is said and done, he's at .351. 2-2. You had a chance to talk to D a little bit.
I did. It was good to see him. Say hi to him. I was, obviously checking in, see how he's feeling, doing okay. I mean, we know what the numbers. I said, well, I know you're doing okay. I mean, the numbers are telling that, but just how are you? And he's like, still the same attitude. I mean, you're so respectful. It's like, enjoy being up here. Things are good over here. He's one of those guys that you constantly cheer for.
No home runs, 17 runs batted in, 15 doubles and 3 triples.
Looks like he's put on a little bit of muscle. Looks a little stronger.
He's into the 170s now. And this is going to be a very tough play for Anderson, and there will be no play.
Pretty much an infield hit, just a little chopper. You're not going to get D.
No, you talked about he doesn't have many bunt base hits this year, but that was just swinging bunt right there, and it's really the only chance that Brett Anderson had on that ball.
So now Anderson, he's going to have to try and keep D. Gordon close. A.J. Ellis has thrown out 6 of 14, 43%. Gordon has stolen 25, and Christian Yelich takes low and outside. 1 ball, no strikes. So a lot riding on A.J. Ellis's right shoulder tonight. Gordon with 25 stolen bases. The Dodgers as a team have 14.
He's the type of runner over there that if he gets a good jump, of course he's going to make it. So you would risk, as a left-handed pitcher, giving him a balk move every once in a while.
There he goes. Swing and a miss. Throw to second base. The 26th stolen base of the year for D. Gordon. Didn't take long, did it?
That's what I was just talking about, the balk move. Sometimes when you have a guy that's really exceptional at stealing bases, especially off of lefties, you might want to.
What was amazing on that one is that D. Gordon didn't really go first move.
No,
he didn't just jump right when he lifted his foot. It's like he was almost waiting, or maybe keyed off the knee and then took off and still made it easy.
So he's made good on 26 of 35 stolen base attempts. D. Gordon.
And now it's actually easier for D. Gordon to steal third, because off a left-handed pitcher, your vision is blocked. When you go ahead and start looking towards home, you lose the base runner, so he can wander off.
Gordon with 64 stolen bases last year, and at this point he's on a pace to do about that again. Meanwhile, Yelich has been struggling.
He's been struggling, been rolling over the ball to the right side, but right now when you got a guy on second base with 2 outs, he's probably going to try to do that.
Now the count is full. Yelich in his first 25 games was hitting but 181 with Echeverria on deck. But in his last 29, 273. So when all is said and done, he's at 230. Yelich to the right side. Did what he was supposed to do. Gets Gordon to third. Yelich is gone, and Echeverria is coming up.
That being the mistake in his swing, because his numbers are down, but the mistake is the right thing to do right there, Noma.
And they talked about him, how this year he's been going to right field more than going the opposite field. That's what made him so successful last year. Been rolling over a lot, but you get that guy over there, and you got to be thinking, okay, even if I make that mistake, something positive is coming out of it.
Echeverria 288, slowed up some in the last 13 games, hitting about 100 points lower than that. 182 in his last 13. Giancarlo Stanton is on deck. Nothing in 2 to Echeverria. He's been struck out 43 times.
And it's a big place for a strikeout right here in the first inning. Man on third, less than 2 outs. You got an 0-2 count. I think you take a couple shots at least right here to try and strike him out.
To shortstop. So the Dodgers will reluctantly trade the out for a run, and the Marlins take a 1-0 lead. When Giancarlo Stanton hits him, he hits him good. Time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Facts. A couple that traveled 484 feet. Jock Peterson is in the mix along with A-Rod, and then there's Giancarlo Stanton. And he hit one just the other day against the Cardinals that traveled 484 feet. When all is said and done, 27 home runs and 67 runs batted in. Dodgers play the shift for him, and as you see, the outfield is exceptionally deep, and not him, then for whom? So Stanton out of Notre Dame High School, and Yelich out of Westlake. Kendrick will throw out Stanton. The shift, that ends the inning. One run, an infield hit that traveled maybe 50 feet. A stolen base, ground out, and a fielder's choice. 1-0. We go to the second with Gonzalez, Van Slyke, and Guerrero coming up. Hit, stole second, a couple of infield outs, and the Marlins have a leg up. So it was a D. Gordon manufactured run. And for D, the 39th run he has scored this year. Now Adrian Gonzalez with Van Slyke and Guerrero to follow. Adrian, 13 home runs, 46 runs batted in, leads the club. One of 12 active players with more than 1,000 career runs batted in. The Marlins do not use the shift on Gonzalez. Some teams do, some don't. And it's 1-1. Adrian, 22 doubles on the year. The outfield is straight away. Bangs a base hit into right field. So Gonzalez is aboard with a leadoff single here in the second.
That was a really pretty swing. How he stayed back on the breaking ball, didn't try to do too much with it, just let the weight of the bat and the leverage of the swing just kind of hit it hard. You see him make swings like that in batting practice. So balanced, such a pure swing when he's right.
Well, that's when you just really, when they say trust in your hands, you just let his hands and let the bat just kind of go through the zone.
Van Slyke takes a strike. It's 0-1. Scott Van Slyke has 4 career 3-hit games. 2 of the 4 have come against the Marlins. And it was last month. Van Slyke at 265. So with the lefty starting tonight, 8th year is watching. Puig still has the bad hand. Guerrero on deck. Gonzalez isn't going anywhere, and Van Slyke takes outside. 2-1.
It's a good matchup for Scott. Nicolino likes to throw the fastball and the changeup. Scott's real good at hitting both of those against lefties especially. And then the breaking ball is not exceptionally sharp. It kind of comes down and in where Scott likes to golf it.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Scott Van Slyke.
That's that foul ball, Nomar, that you talk about. If you end up making it out, that you're going to roll over in bed tonight saying, oh man, I got a guy who likes to throw the 2-seamer, keep it low and away, and he made a mistake up right down the middle with no movement.
Van Slyke 276 against left-handers, 265 overall. Well hit to left field. It is way back. It is on its way, and it is gone. A home run. Scott Van Slyke with his 4th home run of the year. Yelich simply ran out of room, and the Dodgers take a 2-1 lead. Well, the difference between a 60-foot dribbler and about a 375-foot home run, and the Dodgers take a 2-1 lead.
Oral, you were just talking about the pitch before that where you're going, gosh, I may never see that pitch again and have nightmares about not hitting it, but he gets another one. He gets a mistake up in the zone, and he didn't miss it this time. Makes the adjustment after the swing before and gets him on the board.
So now Alex Guerrero. So Van Slyke on a 2-2 changeup gives the Dodgers a 2-1 lead. Nothing in 2 to Guerrero. 10 home runs, 29 runs batted in. Off the fist to D. Gordon. First out of the 2nd inning.
Mark McGwire talked about it as the Dodgers bats were kind of silent early in this road trip. You have to capitalize on pitchers' mistakes, and the first mistake Scott Van Slyke was too quick on, fouled it off, rolled over it. The second mistake, though, he capitalized on it. You got to keep that ratio in the right direction to have a good offense.
Jimmy's bat beginning to heat up. Into left center field, and that is Yelich. Covers a lot of ground. Gold Glove winner last year.
He's almost like a center fielder playing left field. The routes and the jumps he gets and his speed.
Ozuna in center. Covers a lot of ground, and Stanton has the big arm. Ellis yesterday 0 for 2 and a couple of walks. Grandal sitting it out tonight. Ellis takes a strike. It's 0-1. Brett Anderson is on deck. Dodgers would love to get Ellis on if for no other reason. But Anderson would not have to lead it off in the 3rd inning, but he will. A Gonzalez sharp single to right, and Scott Van Slyke's 4th home run of the year has given the Dodgers a 2-1 lead as we go to the bottom half of the 2nd inning.
The shot here at Marlins Park. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Alana Rizzo. It's no secret that the Dodgers haven't played well away from Los Angeles. 14-20 on the road, but this might be exactly the place where they turn that around. Look at what they've done against the Marlins, guys. 18-11. It's the best road record versus a National League opponent. Way to get back into the win column here.
That's over the last 9 years as Marcell Ozuna leads it off against Anderson in the bottom half of the second inning. Ozuna's at .272 with 4 home runs and 26 runs batted in. And as Alana mentioned, the Dodgers at 14-20 on the road this year. But that goes against the grain of the past 2 years. In 2013, the Dodgers were 45-36 on the road. That was tied for best in the major leagues. Last year, 49-32, which was the best road record in Major League Baseball. But this year, not so much, at least not so far. Backhanded by Rollins. That's the first out of the second. Is there any logical explanation for home and road wins and losses, or is it just one of those things?
I believe it's one of those things. I mean, because like you just showed the stat there. Okay, you can be the best last year, and then out of nowhere, you know, you don't have that record.
Jeff Baker takes out.
And you know, one of the arguments you can be, well, this sometimes just getting used to guys on the road. We talked about that early on, but now this late in the season, you are comfortable with each other, so that really isn't a factor. And I think it's just, for me personally, I think it's one of those things.
There's a slim advantage to hitting last because you know exactly what you need to do to tie the game, to win the game. And then managers are a little bit more comfortable to go to their better pitchers when you're at home earlier, because you might not have to hit. But I think it is one of those things also. People wanted to scientifically put it to sleeping in your own bed. And, you know, eating home cooking, not having to stay in a hotel. But I think good teams win wherever they play.
You know, and some guys try to counter that with, like you said, sleeping. You know, some guys will bring their own pillow with them, travel with that, bring different things to make it feel like they're at home.
It's always an attractive look when they're boarding the airplane and they've got their little blankie.
That's only usually with the young teams.
That might be some of the older guys. Some guys dealing with neck issues, back issues.
You do see that.
Yeah.
Baker at 233 with Dietrich on deck. One hop, actually a second hop to Justin Turner. Well, what you see is what you get with Brett Anderson. Ground balls and nothing but.
Yeah, we got a 4-3, a 6-3, a out by the second baseman playing by the shortstop. That was Howie Kendricks in the first inning. Now you've got a shortstop ball and a third base ball, and that's above his Major League Baseball lead percentage of ground balls. He gets a lot of them.
This is Derek Dietrich. And he takes outside, 1 ball, no strikes. So far this year, for those of you keeping score at home, and why not, Brett Anderson has induced 176 ground balls already. And it was a little infield bleeder from Gordon. He beat it out, steals second, and on a couple of infield outs would score the Marlins' only run. Just in case. There's a strike. So Brett Anderson has gotten better as the season has worn on, and he strikes out Dietrich. 6 in a row, retired by the lefty. He'll be leading it off for the Dodgers in the third. Dodgers 2-1. estimated 30 highway mpg. This car was made for driving in California. Visit Dodge.com today. So the Dodgers have indeed taken their talents to South Beach as we begin the third inning. Brett Anderson looking for his second hit of the year. He'll be followed by Jock Peterson and Howie Kendrick. Well, the Marlins have been struggling, and they've been struggling to draw fans to Marlins Park. They're averaging just a shade over 21,000 fans per game, dead last in paid attendance in the National League. Well, 14 games under 500. The turmoil that they've undergone doesn't help any. So a sizable Dodger contingent watching tonight.
With the roof closed and not many fans here, it does sound a little hollow at times. It could be really loud in here when they pack them in.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, the roof is usually closed this time of day for a couple of reasons. One, there's inevitably a late afternoon shower or thunderstorm. And 2, with the roof closed, there is some air conditioning. It's a bit more comfortable. Peterson on deck and Kendrick to follow. And that is Nicolino's second strikeout, and it's the first out of the third inning. Come on out to Dodger Stadium Monday, July the 6th, when the Dodgers take on the Phillies. Help us celebrate the Dodgers' all-time leader in stolen bases, Maury Wills. The first 40,000 fans in attendance receive a Maury Wills bobblehead presented by New Balance. For more information, go to Dodgers.com/promotions. The proprietor of Maury's Pit. Jock Peterson struck out in his first at-bat. Dodgers in Glendale, spring training. There's a side area that is just a bunting pit where Maury is putting the ball into the pitching machine and teaching his charges the techniques of bunting.
Played through with the organization. You're going to get into Maury's Pit at one time or the other.
One of the all-time Dodger greats.
Nomar, after you punch out looking, which I know would probably never happen in your career.
On the infrequent occasion that it might happen.
When you went back and checked the video and it was a good or a bad call, did you bring that information back up to the plate in your next at bat like Jock right here and maybe have a little conversation with the umpire?
Yeah, definitely. Especially if I had some words with him.
Into left field, Yelich is going back, and at the wall, he'll make the catch. Peterson went the other way and came up a bit short.
You'd let him know that if he got it right?
If he got it right, I'd let him know. And let him know that he got it right and say, hey, that was a good call on that last at bat. And speaking of a bat right here with Jock Peterson, he just gets underneath that one just a hair. So I was able to, that one stayed in the park for him.
Yelich, of course, this is his home park. He knew exactly where he was. Stuck out his hand. Braced himself, if need be, against the wall. Now Kendrick, a base hit in his first at bat. With the hit, Kendrick had 279. 6 home runs, 30 runs batted in. Fouls it off to the right. Single to center in his first at bat. And yesterday, bases loaded first inning in Chicago, he always goes the other way, or so it seems. He doubled in 2. The Dodgers have scored 2 more in the second and rolled to their 10th shutout of the year. And there's Kendrick to right at Giancarlo Stanton. The Dodgers go in order, 6 in a row, retired by Nicolino after the 2-run home run by Van Slyke in the second. We go to the bottom of the third. Dodgers 2-1.
most effective pitch of the year is the two-seam fastball, and he's using it well. And he gets on the mound, suffocates the hitters with strikes, and keeps the ball down consistently. You see those 5 groundouts already, the 1 strikeout. He would sacrifice that strikeout even for another groundout.
Real Muto leads it off, the catcher, and then Justin Nicolino. Dodgers 2 runs and 3 hits. 1 run, 1 hit for the Marlins. And it's 1-1 to Real Muto. And that ball diving down, all they could do was bounce it into the dirt. Sinker ball pitchers are inclined to give up hits because, after all, everybody's safe down there. Remember Derek Lowe. Every ball was on the ground, and sometimes they just get through. Another ground ball. Backhanded by Turner, the long throw, and Real Muto beats it out.
And that was a nice pick over there by Adrian Gonzalez at first base. Justin Turner recognizing the speed, knowing that the catcher Real Muto has some speed. Watch how quick he gets rid of this. Doesn't really wait to get his body underneath it because he knows he has to get rid of it so quickly because Real Muto gets down the line. Just a nice stop over there by Adrian Gonzalez.
Now here's Nicolino, 0 for 3 in his major league debut. Takes high and away.
I like putting pressure on a young pitcher right here who hasn't been up in the big leagues very long with his bunting until he shows you he can really handle the bat. Just really get down his throat from the corners. Easy to say, though, because I get to be 60 feet 6 inches away, and you as third baseman, Omar, or first baseman, you get a little closer than that.
But you know, it's funny you say that, but you don't have a whole lot of information on him as far as his pitching, but so you don't have a lot of information on him also at the plate as well. So you don't know if he's has the courage to pull the bat back and then try to swing.
I used to look into their background, like, you know, did they play another position in high school or college? You know, what did they do? Did they hit in college? What was their? Because if they're young and real young, they're not a long way away from that time. They might only be 2.5 years away from the time when they were swinging the bat as an everyday player.
And usually you have that information. You know, okay, he's a converted, maybe position player.
On 1 and 2. That's Mike Everett, home plate umpire, screaming timeout. Everett 50 in his 20th big league season as Gonzalez and Anderson have a conversation.
We had 3 signs in my day for that play right there. You had crash, where you're going to give Adrian Gonzalez a step and a half before you deliver the ball so you can get a head start. You had the fake crash and then back to pick, and then you just had a straight pick.
That had some bite. That's a second strikeout for Anderson.
It's interesting because he had Adrian Gonzalez not crash there. He was going back as if there was going to be a pick. And Anderson throws a nasty breaking ball to get Nicolino.
So we got the part down about his hitting now.
There you go. Making notes.
Yep.
D. Gordon with an infield hit, a stolen base, a couple of infield groundouts. And Real Muto is DOA, attempting his 3rd stolen base of the year.
And we talked about Justin Turner's quick release, knowing the catcher runs well. Watch Adrian Gonzalez gets rid of this ball in a real hurry, gets it down there and beats the runner. Here, watch the release. Adrian doesn't take any time at all. Throws it to the inside. He knows where Jimmy Rollins is going to be coming from, so don't throw it at the bag or to the outside so it crosses the runner. Throw it to the inside so it's got a clear path.
Gonzalez has an accurate throwing arm from first base to second base, as there is in the game.
And once again, even the way he throws, just like he fields, it seems effortless and way too easy. He does a great job throwing overhand too to the pitcher, who's usually coming first base, which isn't easy to do.
So Anderson 2-2 to Gordon. The Dodgers with a 2-1 lead. And now nobody out, or nobody on, and 2 out here in the bottom of the third. And Gordon is 2 for 2, as if to say to the Dodgers, hi, remember me?
Anderson trying to stay away with that breaking ball, and it was a good spot when you see on pitch tracks where it was hitting that corner down in the way of the strike zone. Sometimes you just got to give the hitter a little credit. D. Gordon does a good job staying on that ball, not pulling it off and driving it back up the middle.
Now Christian Yelich takes a strike. It's 0-1. Yelich down to 229. No balls and 2 strikes.
Nice job by Brett Anderson, varying his time. He went really quick on D. Gordon, wouldn't allow him to get out there. Quick stepped him.
Now Anderson picks off his second runner of the inning and of the game, caught stealing. No runs, 2 hits, and nobody left. The Dodgers take a 2-0 lead into the top half of the fourth. Day after the game to see a musical performance and a spectacular 4th of July fireworks show brought to you by Cirque du Soleil's Curious. For more information, go to Dodgers.com/promotions. Run at your own risk. Gordon and Real Muto gunned down. Marlins squander a couple of base hits. You know, the Marlins have still yet hit the ball out of the infield. So Anderson has brought his A game to this point, and Justin Turner, who bounced into a double play, begins the 4th inning for the Dodgers. With Gonzalez on deck and Van Slyke to follow, Turner takes high and away, 1 ball and no strikes. Turner missed the home run by a sliver yesterday in the 8th inning off the top of the netting. They have even actually hit the stanchion that holds the netting in left field. At first it was called a home run. And it's outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. So Justin at the moment at 323, and the pitch on the way. First walk given up by Nicolino. The Dodgers with a leadoff base runner. Gonzalez had a leadoff single in the 2nd inning, and Van Slyke, who's now on deck, would follow that up with a home run. Dodgers 2-1. Gonzalez had the day off yesterday and hit a home run on Wednesday night. Turner's stolen 1 base this year, and Gonzalez takes a strike. It's 0-1.
The whole team looks fresher, like they've recovered from the travel to Chicago after the Sunday night game. The 2 wins at the end of that series, of course, help.
Those Sunday night games, especially when you are traveling immediately after one, take the starch out.
Yeah, the best time to have that Sunday night game is when you're still in the middle of a homestand. But if you are both leaving, even the visiting team, they're going to have tough travel, and of course the home team that's hosting that team is going to have tough travel.
Adrian Gonzalez slices it foul. Gonzalez at 297.
You have a Sunday night game in Boston and then have to make the West Coast travel, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of them,
did that quite a bit. Yep. And you'd find it a lot. We'd have a lot of those Sunday night, the Sunday night game, and especially if we were playing the Yankees and if we had to go to the West Coast.
That's the tax you pay when you're playing on a good club. You're going to get a lot of primetime attention, but you're flying out immediately thereafter. And that first day or 2 after, it's tough.
I'd love to pitch that game. I know it was tough on the body for our team, but I loved pitching that game because in LA, when you pitched in that game, the opposing hitters couldn't see the ball for about the first 3-4 innings because of the way the sunlight is there.
On about 5:30, it can be murder.
The one year I went 19-3 with a 2.03, and everybody said, "Boy, you had a great year." And I said, "But I had 5 Sunday night game starts, so my ERA was that low because I had 15 innings where the hitters couldn't see the ball."
Right.
Into center field. That's Ozuna. And that's the first out of the 4th. Here's Scott Van Slyke, who hit his 4th home run of the year, and the first one given up by Nicolino in his young career. That was back in the 2nd. And the home run for Van Slyke is the difference in the game. Dodgers 2-1. 1 out and 1 on here in the 4th.
If I know Scott, being a big league son, he's going to look for a breaking ball because he hit the straight one already. Or he's going to hit the fastball up again, the mistake.
Wow. It's going to be one or the other.
We have a look back in the 2nd inning where he gets that ball up in the zone. Likes to extend the arms. shows off the power. And he's going to go back thinking that last pitch right there, and this at bat going out. That was another one I could have possibly hit out.
That hit him. Could hear Mike Everett bellow out. So the Dodgers now have first and second with one out.
Well, they didn't want to make a mistake out over the plate. Scott's been hammering that ball, foul balls and home runs. So he'd go sit way inside, and he turned in properly the way he should. Just caught it off the thigh. They weren't trying to hit him on purpose. They just weren't going to make a mistake out over the plate.
So the Dodgers have a gift. A walk and hit batter, and Alex Guerrero coming up. Dodgers as a team this year hitting .278 with runners in scoring position. Guerrero, 10 home runs, 29 runs batted in. Into center field for a base hit. Turner rounding third. He will be held there. They'll not test the arm for Ozuna, and for good reason. That'll get your attention.
Well, that's all over the scouting report. You're going, okay, where are the really strong arms in the outfield? You got center field and Ozuna. You got in right field with Stanton. This one was hit hard back up the middle, and you're going, here comes the throw. Well, Turner goes there. He gets a good jump. Justin Turner gets a good jump, does his job, and puts the pressure on Lorenzo Bundy to make the decision. And he makes the right decision as that ball was all the way on the fly. A perfect throw to home plate.
The ball went out in a hurry and then came back into the infield in a hurry. So here are the bases loaded for Jimmy Rollins, who flied to left in his first at bat. 7 home runs, 19 runs batted in. Dodgers with a 2-1 lead, looking to expand. Rollins takes outside. Rollins a better hitter from the right side than he is from the left, hitting .250 from where he sits or stands right now. There's a strike.
Right down there on the corner. Good changeup. Just barely caught the strike zone.
Turner, Van Slyke, and Guerrero the runners. Looped into short right center field for a base hit. That will score Turner. Van Slyke is on his way home, and he is safe. A 2 RBI single for Jimmy Rollins, and the Dodgers take a 4-1 lead.
When Jimmy Rollins gets this off the end of the bat, it was a changeup again going away from him. And it's able to find some grass in the outfield. And I don't know if Stanton recognized the jump that Van Slyke got from second base, which allowed him to score.
It was as if Stanton got his pocket picked.
Watch Van Slyke here. He sees it freeze just to make sure. Then he's like, all right, go. I'm going to go, thinking I'm going to score all the way. Because you had Justin Turner when he was also going back just to make sure, as you're supposed to, going, is this a possible tag up? And then once they recognized the ball was going to fall, they headed for home.
There was no reason for Stanton to have to make a wrong-footed throw.
No,
he was caught by surprise for sure.
I think he was thinking the way it was hit that, okay, just one run's going to score. The other one, you know, Van Slyke just kind of froze there, so he's not going to try. And he was able to come around.
Early bullpen activity for the Marlins, as the Dodgers lead 4-1. And A.J. Ellis coming up. Well, the Dodgers have won 2 in a row and feeling good about themselves flying in to play the Marlins this weekend. With a chance to bury them early. The Marlins have lost 4 in a row, 7 of 8. They're a season low 14 under 500. Ellis flied to right this first at bat. Guerrero leads from second and Rollins from first.
A.J. Ellis now starting to get some reps behind the plate. And as the lefties are on the mound, or he catches Clayton Kershaw, he's really starting to look a little better at the plate. Better approach, better balance. Got some confidence in his eyes, like he knows what he's doing and he's making adjustments. Just like to see the ball start falling in for him.
Two balls and one strike to A.J. Ellis. 12 out of 68 on the year. Guerrero's at second and Rollins at first. 2 in for the Dodgers here in the fourth. They scored 2 in the second. Ellis, a slow chopper. They'll get Ellis at first base, but the runners each move up 90 feet. Guerrero to third and Rollins to second.
Well, Nomar, this is that situation where you say you really can break another club's back, the 2-out RBI situation.
Yep, and this is where you're going, okay, can the pitcher help himself out here?
Yep.
He's got 1 hit on the year. Anderson does. That was a double.
Just want to put it in play. Give yourself a chance. Yep.
And even in this situation, or are you really thinking, okay, wait, take a strike still in this situation, or you're like, if you get a ball that you can handle, try it, give yourself a chance?
I always thought I just didn't want to strike out. I just wanted to put the ball in play, give us a chance. And I never really took. I was one of the uglier hitters you're going to see. I got up there and played pepper. I did not take a true batting stance. Just got in there and really just tried to make contact.
Anderson's batting average .053. He's 1 for 19. And he smacks a base hit into center field. Guerrero in to score. On his way home is Rollins, and he is out at the plate. But Brett Anderson does knock in 1. Gives the Dodgers a 3rd run of the 4th. They lead 5-1 after 3.5. Ozuna with a terrific throw, even with 2 outs, and Rollins, who runs well, would be gunned down at the plate.
Stanton with a Southern California connection. He went to high school at Notre Dame High in Sherman Oaks, was committed to play baseball and football at SC as a safety and a receiver before signing with the Marlins. Here's another interesting note for you. Our own Nomar Garcia-Parra went to St. John Bosco High in Bellflower. Now, both of these schools played in the Del Rey League. It is no longer a league, but it used to be such a huge rivalry in baseball. Back in the day, guys, perhaps some of the best high school baseball in the nation. Another SoCal note for you. Christian Yelich, as Charlie Steiner mentioned, went to Westlake High School in Ventura County.
And he leads it off in the 4th. Dodgers have a 5-1 lead. And Yelich bounced to second in his first at bat. How about Brett Anderson with his second hit of the year?
Taking it right back up the middle. Now he's got to face a Southern California high school guy. That's not easy to do. I'll tell you that right now.
Yet ever so humble. Yelich 4 home runs and 15 runs batted in. Had a terrific year last year, but has been struggling this year.
Well, I'll tell you, I thought Brett Anderson did a great job in the second inning, getting that quick 1-2-3 out right after the Dodgers put 2 on the board. So now you're looking to see if he can do the same thing here.
Starts out inning out 3-0, and AJ goes out there to give him a little breather, reminding him that, yeah, you got the hit, but you got to throw some strikes right here. Find your rhythm.
I know you ran a little bit.
You're a pitcher now.
He's probably saying, wait a minute.
Get back to do what you do best.
He goes, but I hit it really well, AJ.
But he gives up a leadoff walk here in the 4th. With Echeverria coming up and Stanton after that.
Well, I'll tell you, this is what makes you nervous, because we talked about it right at the open. Is you want to minimize the amount of base runners when you have the middle of this order coming up, especially with that guy on deck that Alana was just talking about, the guy from Notre Dame High School who just, gosh, you were talking about Charlie earlier. He's got the big arm in right. Were you talking about his arms figure literally how big those things are?
Echeverria, infield. Fielder's choice in his first at-bat, knocked in the only run of the game for the Marlins in the first. It was his 31st run batted in. Dodgers 5-1. 1-1. Echeverria in a bit of a slump last 13 games. 182. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Brett Anderson still doesn't have his rhythm, doesn't have his legs under him. He's, even when he's getting a few of these strikes here, the 1-2 count, they're not the same pitches he was making earlier in the game.
There's yet to be an outfield putout tonight off Anderson, but that's par for the course. Echeverria 287. He and D. Gordon have made quite a combination up the middle, offensively and defensively.
They're both very exciting players.
Dodgers and the Marlins, by the way, the 2 best defensive teams in the league this year. Each team has made but 29 errors.
That is a huge improvement for the Dodgers, I'll tell you that.
Finished 14th out of the 15 teams last year in the National League. Up the middle into center field for a base hit. Now Anderson is in some trouble. First and second, nobody out, and Giancarlo Stanton able to leap tall buildings in a single swing.
It's ground ball, but it's on a hanging pitch, hanging breaking ball, and it gets through with 2 hops. Ground ball pitchers will evaluate themselves on how hard the ball is hit. You give up so many ground balls, it's about how many hops does it take to get through the infield. When it's 3, 4, 5 hops, you go, all right, I'm making good pitches. When it's 1 or 2 hops, it's usually a bad pitch.
Stanton bounced to second in his first at bat. And he takes a strike. It's 0-1. Stanton 27 home runs and 67 runs batted in. National League leader.
And over 30% of his hits are home runs. He has 74 hits, 27 home runs.
And throw in 12 doubles and a triple for good measure. So he leads the league in home runs, RBIs, and strikeouts.
This is the one guy in the lineup I'd like to see Brett Anderson go away from his strength right now and throw a four-seamer up and change his eye line. And then go back to your strength.
2-2 to Stanton. Ozuna on deck.
You hitters, when you face a sinker baller like this, you're like, make him get the ball up, make him get the ball up. Yep. So you throw one where you make him get it up, and they might chase it if you go too high. They might just get that flinch swing.
And you know, oftentimes you're right, Oral, that you're looking for it up, and you're going, okay, it's right where I was looking. I'm doing my job. I got it up. There's the one, and then if you get it at that spot where it's just still too high, where you can't square it up, it becomes a great pitch.
Struck him out swinging.
That's an outstanding pitch because he made that breaking ball look like it was a fastball right down the middle. If he goes to throw a routine strike, Stanton probably kills it. He doesn't want to have it end up being a strike, but look, when it first comes out of his hand, it looks like it's going to be a fastball right down the middle, and then it breaks down. He didn't go for both height and width. He just said, I'm not going to give him the height. I'll throw it like it looks like it's down the middle. After that, it's bouncing. 3
strikeouts for Anderson and a big one to get Stanton. Marcell Ozuna has 4 home runs and 26 runs batted in. And he takes a strike. It's 0-1.
And I think it goes also a long way with A.J. Ellis as well. I mean, not only just calling it and being in tune with him, but also having the confidence that you know that I can throw it in the dirt and he's going to be able to block that and keep it in front.
Jeff Baker on deck. Yelich and Echeverria the runners. And it's 0-2.
There's an extra level of confidence when you want to throw the 3-2 breaking ball. Your catcher puts it down, and you know it's a big situation. And there's just a rhythm to it, and he just cuts it loose, and that's what happened. If you have to shake to it, and all of a sudden you get that second thought of, oh, I'm not on the same page with my catchers. That's really the right pitch. I guess I'm on all by myself out here taking this risk of throwing the 3-2 breaking ball. But when you want to throw it, you've got it gripped and ready to go, and the catcher puts it down. It's like, here we go.
Ozuna 269 with runners in scoring position, 272 overall on the year. It's 1-2. A little number. Anderson goes to first. The runners advance. There's 2 out.
Brett Anderson, a really good athlete, when he picked up that ball and looked at second, but then didn't really readjust his feet to throw the ball to first. Nice job throwing accurately to Adrian.
It's a very humid night, and you can see that Anderson is freely perspiring. Now Baker, who bounced to third in his first at-bat, bounces to second in his second at-bat, and Anderson gets out of the inning. A hit, a walk, and 2 men left. We'll go to the 5th. Brett Anderson and the Dodgers in control. It's 5-1. Guys ranks him third. 41 runs scored. On base percentage, flirting with 400 all year. And he sure does get on base a lot. And he does a lot with his base hits. 19 home runs, 11 triples, and a double. 60 hits on the year. New pitcher for the Marlins is Jarred Cozart. So Nicolino's night is done. Peterson leading it off, and it's outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Jock 0 for 2. Kendrick and Turner to follow. So the Dodgers unfazed by the rookie left-hander Nicolino. Pitch. 7 shutout innings in his major league debut against the Reds. Peterson has struck out, flied to left. And Cozart falls behind 3-1.
Well, I thought the Dodgers did a really good job against Nicolino. They were attacking his mistakes. They were waiting for their pitch rather than just going after his pitch. When he was trying to really get the corners on the outer half and taking bad swings. So it was really those ones that were in their zones where they like it, and they capitalized on that.
He went 4 innings, 5 earned runs and 6 hits, 62 pitches and 40 strikes. Lenny Harris walking behind him. Stylish glasses. Howie Kendrick is 1 for 2. The Dodgers lead 5-1. I'm trying to remember the last time Howie Kendrick pulled the ball.
Well, the base hit tonight was up the middle, but I'm not sure it was to the left of the second base bag. We saw him roll over a few when he was in his slump. Pull it in the air? I don't know. It's been a while.
Or just a single to left. And there's one up the middle of base hit. Peterson flirting with the notion of going to third, thought better of it. The Dodgers are in business, first and second. Nobody out here in the 5th.
With a swing like that, he doesn't need to go to left field. Stay right there. He knows his strengths, knows how to stay within himself. Howie Kendrick just taking it right back up the middle, finds the hole. Jock Peterson being aggressive on the bases, which is good, but we've already seen Ozuna's arm today. This is throughout Jimmy Rollins in that last inning.
And you got your 3, 4, 5 hitters coming up, and there's nobody out.
He did the right thing.
Peterson and Kendrick at second and first, and here's Turner, who's walked, bounced into a double play, and scored a run. And the Dodgers get a gift. Peterson will go to third, and Kendrick will go to second.
These little mistakes by the Marlins. Just kind of the reason they're 14 games under 500.
Well, that's going to go down as a wild pitch, but you need a little different effort from your catcher there to try to block that. They didn't really use the best technique, especially on the breaking ball, trying to backhand that as compared to getting your body in front of it, dropping down.
Reached out and tried to backhand it.
Yeah.
Very lazy effort.
So we're beginning to see why the Marlins are 14 games under 500. Lost 4 straight, 7 of 8. Turner 10 home runs, 35 runs batted in. Up the middle, off the leg of Cozart.
Dodgers were lucky right there. And what I mean by lucky there, as watch Howie Kendrick at second base on this ball. They're thinking it's going to go by the pitcher. It was hit hard and it knocks off, and Howie's looking at Jock, recognize that he stops, but you see that Howie was way off the bag in no man's land. The fact that they went to first base, he was able to get back.
That would have changed the inning completely. If you get Howie there at second, now you have first and third. Now you get a chance to get out of there with a double play. You still got an RBI situation with an out right now.
Here's Gonzalez with second and third.
And then the other thing, you know, as Gonzalez steps to the plate, you know the situation. Okay, you're thinking about a ball to get in the outfield, but you also recognize that the infield's back as well.
So Gonzalez with a chance for an RBI or two. Taking outside. Gonzalez has singled and scored a run. Cozart on in relief. Justin Nicolino. And now they say the heck with this. They'll walk Gonzalez and try their luck with Scott Van Slyke. Be careful of what you wish for. Van Slyke hit a 2-run home run in the second inning. Hit by a pitch and scored a run in the fourth inning. Dan Jennings has discovered it's not as easy in the dugout as he thought it might be. So the bases are loaded and the Dodgers with a glorious opportunity to bust this game open. Blowing outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Van Slyke now with 4 home runs and 18 runs batted in. He's got the bases loaded.
Now you can really keyhole him, huh? No.
Oh yeah.
2-0.
This is
struggling.
This is the one you're constantly telling yourself, okay, I'm in a hitter's count. Look for one spot, but don't overswing. Stay within yourself.
Two balls and a strike to Van Slyke.
See, that's the one where he was telling, he goes, I'm swinging, I'm going to let it fly, and it wasn't his pitch.
1 for 5 with the bases loaded this year. 304 with runners in scoring position. Cozart deals. Van Slyke 2-2. Guerrero is on deck. The 2-2 from Jared Cozart. Van Slyke.
Cozart did a good job getting back into the count and then taking his one shot where he doesn't have to throw a strike in the 2-2. He falls behind here with 2 balls to get behind 2-0. Scott Van Slyke with a good take right there. Now he's really keyholing, and this is where Scott lets him back into the count, swinging at a 2-0 pitch down low, then missing a pitch that was right down the middle, and then there's the shot with a 2-2 count. He can play with a breaking ball, doesn't have to throw a strike, gets him to swing and miss.
Guerrero with the bases loaded. Into right field for a base hit. In to score is Peterson. Everybody else holds. Kendrick now to third. Gonzalez to second. RBI hit to right for Guerrero. He's 2 for 3. Knocked in his 30th run of the year, and the Dodgers lead 6-1.
2 out RBIs, right? Or we talk about that, and Alex Guerrero doing a good job and just tacking the very first pitch, which he loves to do, and goes the other way.
Guerrero delivers in the clutch, and here's Jimmy Rollins. Single to right and drove in 2 back in the 4th inning.
See, from the obvious that picks up your team 2 out RBI, but what that also does, it also helps Van Slyke, who's upset with his at bat there and going, when he comes in, hey, thanks for picking me up.
Rollins, a switch hitter batting for the left side, takes high and outside, 1 ball and no strikes. So Van Slyke tonight, the 2-run home run hit by a pitch, and then he strikes out with the bases loaded. but Guerrero picks him up. And Rollins takes high 2-0. Jimmy now 7 home runs and 21 runs batted in. Kendrick, Gonzalez, and Guerrero the runners. And Rollins takes all the way for a strike, 2-1. Jimmy Rollins has more hits than anybody against the Marlins since the Marlins were born. But this time he grounds to shortstop. Echeverria will throw him out. Dodgers score 1, leave 3. And off after 4.5, they lead by 5. It's 6-1. With a bat, he's driven in a run. He's picked off a couple of runners. Second time he's done it this year. Back at the end of May in St. Louis. That deceptive move. And tonight, Real Muto and Gordon.
Your ground ball pitcher, sometimes they go through, a guy gets on. The other way to get him is the double play, but he can control the running game.
Derek Dietrich leads it off. Meanwhile, in Philadelphia, where there is turmoil every place you look, Ryan Sandberg resigned today. Pete McKinnon is running the ship for the moment. Max Scherzer, you remember him? Does he have a perfect game through 5 innings? Of course, his last start had a perfect game. 1 strike away from a perfect game. And he hit Jose Tabata on the elbow. Would end up getting the no-hitter. And inevitably, the one name that always comes up and will forever till the end of time in baseball when there is a no-hitter, Johnny Vandermeer. Because Johnny Vandermeer was the only pitcher in history to throw back-to-back no-hitters. Dietrich is down on strikes, and that is the 4th strikeout of the game.
Well, Brett Anderson's got his own good game of his own. It's not a no-hitter and it's not a shutout, but he's pitching well and getting some run support. Just dots the eye right there at AJ's glove. Gets the little foul tip strikeout.
Gets the leadoff batter, and here's Real Muto. Easy chopper to third. And there's 2 out.
Speaking of that Scherzer almost perfect game no-hitter when he hit Tabata, that lit up talk radio.
You think he leaned into that just a little bit? Is that what you're wondering?
If it would have been a 1-0 game, I could see that strategy, but I think it was 5 or 6-0 at the time. So I hope he didn't do it on purpose.
Cozart foul tips it, and Ellis pays for it. It's a tough way to make a business.
Right on the kneecap. He'll feel that for about a week.
Cozart 0-2. So Vandermeer, the only pitcher in history to throw back-to-back no-hitters. And the second one came at Ebbets Field. I believe it was the first night game in Brooklyn where he pitched his second no-hitter. Anderson, a terrific night tonight. He has struck out 5, and to this point he has given up just 1 run and 4 hits. Dodgers lead 6-1.
By Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop at ChooseNissan.com. And by DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com. Use promo code BLUECREW for free entry.
Meanwhile, in Philadelphia, Max Scherzer has given up a hit, but the Nationals leading Philly 5-0 in the bottom half of the 6th inning. We begin the top half of the 6th here in South Florida with A.J. Ellis, Brett Anderson, and Jock Peterson coming up. Dodgers 6 runs and 8 hits. The Marlins 1 run and 4. Ellis takes a strike, and it's 0-1.
We want to apologize to Max Scherzer and his family for jinxing that no-hitter down here from Miami. Just bringing the news.
Read the news today, oh boy. Ellis, Anderson, and Peterson to hit for the Dodgers here in the 6th. Marlins took a 1-0 lead in the 1st, but the Dodgers came back with 2 in the 2nd, 3 in the 4th, and 1 in the 5th. Ellis, who's 0 for 2. Van Slyke hit a 2-run home run. RBI hits for Guerrero. Rollins knocked in 2, and so did Brett Anderson. Last month, the Dodgers took 2 out of 3 from the Marlins at Dodger Stadium. Last year, they split 6. But dating back to 2006, or the last 9 years, the Dodgers are 18-11 against the Marlins. Meanwhile, Brett Anderson's been cruising along rather comfortably. 84 pitches, 53 strikes. The typical performance for Anderson. There's not been an outfield fly yet. Five strikeouts and a walk for Brett Anderson, who's on deck. Just high. Low and outside. We'll be back with you tomorrow, 1 o'clock Pacific. Clayton Kershaw and Tom Kohler. And on Sunday, Zach Greinke and rookie Jose Urena. Popped up, foul territory, and out of play.
Ooh. I think if Real Muto sees that, yeah, he could have made that play. That didn't go. That didn't hit on the other side of the net. That hit on the playing field side. He didn't really. I don't think he noticed it right when it went up, and nobody was really helping him, telling him where it is. Watch, see, he doesn't really. Okay, does he really get it? A glance at it. No one's telling him. Watch, it's makeable play. See, there's a chance if he gets over to that wall quick enough.
And Ellis gets an extra pitch and a leadoff walk. Those are the little things between winning teams and losing ones.
And as we got here into town and then talked to a lot of the Marlin people and different things, they talked about this team plays young and they make a lot of stupid little errors, and that won't show up in the scorebook, but that definitely could have been an out.
You can't give those outs away as Anderson squares to bunt and takes a strike, 0-1.
Oh, we've seen a lazy effort from behind the plate where on a wild pitch pass ball, you know, maybe a big leaguer with an effort's going to block it, so you keep the runners in order. We've seen Giancarlo Stanton out in right field kind of come up a little bit lazy and not realize there was a runner coming around third that he could probably thrown out. See that play right there? After a while, not every one is black and white that could have been positive for the Marlins, but after a while, there's a few of them that all of a sudden you got to say these could have went our way.
Yeah, they start adding up.
It's the accumulation. It's a slow drip. There's not been significant difference in the Marlins since Redmond was fired. And Dan Jennings took over. They're having issues with the big scoreboard in center field and the one down the left field line. In fact, all the scoreboards now, even embedded in the outfield walls, are out.
Yeah, the last pitch when Brett Anderson bunted through the ball, he motioned the home plate umpire Mike Everett and said the scoreboard just came on. I was watching myself in peripheral vision that just kind of flashed and kind of rebooted during live action.
And when they're that big, you notice it. When you're at the plate, you notice it. And there are times in between pitches they may have something running or going at stadiums, but when the pitch is about coming, everything's supposed to stop right before the pitch, so it's not a distraction.
So a partial power failure inside Marlins Park, and here's Jock Peterson with 1 out and 1 on. Peterson has struck out, walked, and scored a run. Whacks it foul to the left, and it's 0-1. Peterson with more home runs than any other center fielder in the game. He's been among the league leaders all year in home runs, walks, and strikeouts. And on base percentage, for that matter, .391. Nothing at 2. Cozart can muscle it up. Zach Cozart, 6'3", 200, out of Texas. Came up in the Astro organization. along with Kike Hernandez. They were both traded to the Marlins from the Astros, and of course the Dodgers will get Hernandez among others from the Marlins. 4, 6, and they're not going to even try the throw. Peterson too quick. Ellis out at second. And Howie Kendrick coming up. Kendrick tonight is 2 for 3. Slowly but surely getting out of the slump he's been in. At the big double yesterday in Chicago, 2 for 3 tonight, and a slow roller to third. And it's bobbled. Derek Dietrich with the error, and the Dodgers get another break. Oh, look at the Carl's Cam replay. I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. You don't got it.
Nope. To misread that last hop, and Howie just going. Howie, when you hit that, he's like, "Oh, great." He goes, "All right, there's an out. Let me just run down, hustle down, and next thing you know, you look up like a nice little E there, as we saw on Carl's Cam."
Justin Turner with runners at first and second, 2 out. Dodgers looking to add to their 6-1 lead. Strike, 0-1. In Turner's last at bat with a couple of runners aboard, he scorched one up the middle and happened to catch the leg of the starter Justin Nicolino. So it would go into the scorebook as a ground out, but a couple of inches away from an RBI.
You know, Nomar, as we sit here and watch Justin Turner get in the box, I mean, there's so many different theories on how much weight on which foot. You know, you're 80-20, 60-40. He almost looks like he's 95-5 when he's only on his toe on his front left foot.
You know, that's.
And I'm not saying it's good right or the other, but there's little leaguers out there watching people and trying to copy things.
Yeah, but regardless, there's a balance, and it's still about when the weight transfer as the ball's coming to. So, still on that back leg, there's still load.
Up the middle, Echeverria, terrific play, and for the second time, Justin Turner goes up the middle and comes up short. No runs, no hits, a walk and an error after 5.5. Dodgers 6-1.
Gordon getting ready to lead off the inning, and after a tremendous year last year as the Dodgers starting second baseman, D. Gordon was at his first All-Star game, and if the way that this year is going, he could easily make it back-to-back years. He's second in the league in hitting, and he also leads the league in hits. He joined a very elite list of guys that have done it as both a Marlin and a Dodger. You can see the names there: Gary Sheffield, Kevin Brown, and Paul LaDuca, guys.
And it'll be Tavares Gordon leading it off for the Dodgers here in the bottom of the 6th. The son of Flash. D with 2 hits, an infield hit, and a single into center field. So Anderson's got a 6-1 lead as we begin the bottom half of the 6th inning. And Gordon, with his 2 base hits, is now at .355. Yelich on deck, Echeverria to follow. Up the middle, Rollins has to hurry, and the speed of Gordon rushes Rollins, and D is aboard.
And that's exactly what caused the misplay right there by Jimmy Rollins, is recognizing it's D. Gordon, not hit very hard, and that you have to get rid of this quickly. And he tried to make the transfer so fast here that the ball flies out of his glove. D just covers so much ground.
And he's 3 for 3. And Yelich takes the ball. Yelich has bounced out and has walked.
Are you flipping that ball to your bare hand, Nomar, or are you trying to reach in your glove and grab it?
I mean, no, you're trying to reach into your glove and grab. You're not trying to hit it with the glove, flip it to your hand, and throw it. You're just trying to glove it because you know you have to charge it, and then just make the transfer. And as you were trying to go so quickly to do it, it flies out of your glove because of who's running. And, you know, if you talk to Jimmy, he's going to say, yeah, I have to make that play. He probably, you know, remember that one play where Jimmy was playing with Kike, and Kike went to the bag and Jimmy threw it behind him, and it was ruled a hit, and Jimmy was calling afterwards and say, no, that should have been an error. That shouldn't have been a run ended up scoring. He's like, no, it shouldn't have been an earned run on our pitcher. It should have been an unearned run. I mean, he was really lobbying to try to call and get that changed for his pitcher.
Well, these two teams have made the fewest errors in the league, each with just 29. Now 2-2 to Christian Yelich, Danny Echeverria on deck, and then Giancarlo Stanton. Yelich 0 for 1. Takes a call, 3rd strike. That's 6 strikeouts now for Anderson.
It's the ground balls with the 2-seamer, and with the breaking ball, he can pick up some strikeouts. Nice little solid breaking ball. Nothing exceptional about the pitch other than he hits his target. It's not perfect, really low and away, but it's solid because they're looking for the 2-seamer.
Dodger outfield is surprisingly shallow for Echeverria, who fouls it off to the right. Peterson and Van Slyke especially shallow, and Guerrero the deepest of the 3. Echeverria 4 home runs and 30 runs batted in. Anderson already with a couple of pickoffs tonight. And it's 0-2. Brett Anderson in his last 4 road starts coming into tonight had received a grand total of 4 runs of support. And so even with an ERA of under 2.5, his record but 1-2. But tonight he's taken matters into his own hands, and he's gotten 5 runs to work with. He's got a stack of chips at the table.
And he's been lobbying to go deeper and deeper into the game and really pushing his pitch count. The game against Texas, when he got a no decision, went 8 innings. He got it up to 114. Before that, the max he had thrown was 112 and 102 and 100. And here it, as the pitch count creeps closer and closer to 100, he'd love to get through this 6th and maybe try and milk the 7th out of this outing.
And the Dodger bullpen would say thank you very much with all the work they did the past 2 days in Chicago.
There's a fresh body down there now, Charlie.
Pedro Baez off the disabled list today. Fly ball. Long way to go for Peterson, and he'll track it down. Jock Peterson had a run a ton, and Echeverria robbed of a hit. Another great play in center field by Jock Peterson.
Well, you were talking about how shallow they were earlier there, Charlie, but that's because he can track it down like this. Gets a great jump once again, notices the spot that he's going to run to, tracks it all the way into the glove, and once again showing off the range of Jock Peterson.
He is something special in center field.
When an outfielder has to run a long way, when it's not just a sprint but a long sprint somewhere, the thing that happens is their legs get slightly fatigued, and all of a sudden your eyes start bobbing, and they really got to stay strong through their routes. And Jock does a great job of even when he has to run a really long distance, of staying stable and being very sure-handed.
Giancarlo Stanton is 0 for 2. And he's hit 5 of the longest home runs in Major League Baseball this year. He's hit miles worth of home runs. Two balls and a strike. Stanton bounced to second in his first at bat, and with first and second nobody out in the 4th, he struck out. Watch out. Ooh. Let's hope everybody's okay. Ooh.
I don't think you think you're sitting in the 15th row from the field. I don't think you think you're going to get a bat in your row, but that's where this one ends up.
2-2. Down on strikes for the second time tonight. Stanton has been struck out 94 times this year, twice by Anderson. No runs and 1 base hit. Dodgers lead it 6-1 through 6. Fans in attendance on Wednesday, July the 8th, when the Dodgers take on the Phillies and receive your very own Hello Kitty plush presented by Time Warner Cable. For more information, go to Dodgers.com/promotions. Boy, that was scary, that bat flying into the stands the way it did. Dodgers cruising with a 6-1 lead as we begin the 7th inning. And Adrian Gonzalez, 1 for 2, an intentional walk and a run scored, fouls it back. It's 0-1. So the Dodgers with 2 in the second, a 2-run home run by Van Slyke. 3 in the 4th and 1 in the 5th. Marlins scored a run in the 1st, and Brett Anderson's been at the top of his game. That great play in the 6th inning, the catch by Jock Peterson, is the only outfield putout of the night. So Anderson has brought his A game. Cozart on in relief of Nicolino. The rookie in his 2nd big league start, 5 runs and 6 hits in 4 innings. Three and 1. Well hit, but slicing foul. Van Slyke on deck and Guerrero to follow.
Where hitters start to open up their swings. You got a 6-1 game. Pitchers fall behind in the count.
Lined into left field for a base hit. Last couple of days it looks like Gonzalez's bat is beginning to awaken.
Open up their swings, except him. I mean, he still recognizes that. All right.
Well, that was more the 3-2 swing compared to the 3-1 swing. He did kind of open it up.
You're right. You're right, because he's got 2 strikes, and he just, I mean, it's so short and to the ball, going the other way with it, staying behind the ball, driving it the other way. We don't see too many people adjusting for 2 strikes anymore, as they should, and Adrian does it on a consistent basis.
Van Slyke takes high and away for a strike. And it is 0-1. Gonzalez hit a home run on Wednesday. And tonight he is 2 for 3. 1-1 to Scott Van Slyke. Ethier the night off tonight. We still got the bad hand. Grandal watching as Ellis is behind the plate. Van Slyke slicing out of play. Guerrero's on deck. Gonzalez at first, nobody out in the 7th. Van Slyke down on strikes. Second time a victim of Cozart. And that'll bring up Alex Guerrero. Singled in a run in his last at bat. Singled and scored a run as well. So Max Scherzer had a perfect game into the 6th. That has come and gone. Freddie Galvis with a double, busted that one open. Washington leads the Phillies 5-1. The big story in Philly, Ryan Sandberg set to step down. They have had a miserable time of it this year. And by the looks of it, it's not going to get any better anytime soon. Congratulations to Prince Fielder. Hit his 300th career home run today. Joins his dad in that exclusive company. Guerrero on 1 and 2. Slow roller to third. And they will get Gonzalez. There's 2 out.
And Prince Fielder, coming back from that neck surgery, really looked healthy when we played Texas, swinging the bat with that tremendous force that he's always been known for.
And having fun again.
Yes.
Yeah, we were talking about it in Texas, that we don't know what injuries may be affecting a given player. Why is his production down? Of course, and he had the neck surgery. We came to find that out, and he was just having a bad time of it. And after almost a year off, he's back being Prince again. Rollins fouls it off. The Rangers and the Angels are 5 games behind the Astros.
It's quite a turnaround down there in Houston. Those young players are now starting to mature a little bit. They've gotten some better pitching.
The Astros are shutting out the Yankees after 3.5 deep in the heart of Texas. The Astros at 43 and 32. So Rollins tonight is 1 for 3. The Dodgers lead it 6-1. Into short left. Yelich, the Gold Glove winner, makes the play. No runs and a hit, 7th inning stretch. Dodgers sitting pretty. It's 6-1. So the other half of the 7th inning stretch, and Brett Anderson to this point 101 pitches, 62 for strikes, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk, and he's been on top of his game as Ozuna, who is 0 for 2. It's 1-1 with Baker on deck and Dietrich to follow. This Marlins team has really struggled. In their last 31 innings, including tonight, they have scored a grand total of 3 runs. And Dan Jennings, who has managed almost as many games as Mike Redmond did at the time that Redmond was fired. Marlins have not gotten appreciably better. Ozuna's been struck out, and for Anderson, it's his 8th strikeout.
We talked about the two-seamer, which gets the ground balls with the changeup, but the breaking ball, when he establishes that fastball, really can rack up the strikeouts.
1 outfield fly all night. It took a terrific catch by Jock Peterson. Who else? To track it down.
That 8th strikeout is a season high for him. Ties the season high. Game against Colorado, he had 8.
And now at 107 pitches. Through 114 at Texas a couple of starts ago. And he's making it look easy tonight. That's 9 strikeouts. And Dietrich is coming up. So the Dodgers with but 29 errors all year. And Jimmy Rollins, 4-time Gold Glove winner, anchoring the infield. Dietrich has struck out twice tonight. And faring no better in his first pitching season, his 3rd at bat. It's been a while since the Dodgers have made an error. Almost 2 weeks.
That's their longest streak of the year. Some sure leather out there.
Gonzalez has won 4 Gold Gloves. Kendrick steady as she goes. 2 out, nobody on, and a strike. 1-2 to Derek Dietrich. Hitting .290 since he was called up a couple of weeks back. Fastball up and away. So Anderson has given the Dodgers length tonight. That's a beauty. And that's his 10th strikeout. 4 in a row on the night. 3rd time Dietrich has been struck out. We'll go to the 8th. Anderson and the Dodgers lead by 5. Anderson is due to hit next, but it looks like he's getting into more comfortable footwear. With Yasiel Puig stepping out of the dugout into the on-deck circle, the end of the line. Brett Anderson, who was just dominating tonight. Dodgers 6 runs and 10 hits. The Marlins hitting like minnows. 1 run and 5 base hits. And Anderson is 6 outs away from his 4th win of the year. Ellis to short. First out of the 8th. So Brett Anderson tonight, Laurel, with 10 strikeouts, equaling a career high.
Yeah, he was absolutely fantastic. The strikeout was mainly the breaking ball, but what he's known for, #1 in the MLB with ground ball ratio, hovering around 70%. He got a lot of ground balls. He got so many ground balls, Charlie. Let's document the only fly ball out. A nice catch by Jock Peterson, but a great night for Brett Anderson to bring his record, hopefully, to 500, 4-4 now.
The only outfield fly of the night. So here's Puig. He of the bloody blister takes a strike. It is 0-1. Anderson 10 strikeouts and 1 walk. And Puig grounds to third. 2 gone. And that'll bring up Jock Peterson. In a little less than an hour, the Rockies and Giants at AT&T Park. Bettis and Hudson will have at it. Dodger lead at the moment is 1 game over San Francisco. Check swing for Peterson. 0 for 3, a walk and a run scored. Well, a strikeout and a walk tonight. All that's missing is a home run. Into center field. That one is well hit. And he's off the wall. Missed that home run by inches. So instead it will be a double for Jock Peterson. His 12th 2-base hit of the year.
You don't find a lot of double walls in center field.
No, you don't find a lot of double walls, but I'll tell you, Jock Peterson thinks he got it because he wasn't running out of the box really hard right here. It's like, all right, you think I got it. He's kind of jogging right there, thinks it's going out. Now he picks up the gear. You know, I know he's got a lot of power. He's got a lot of home runs, but Jock, just start running. Let the umpire tell you it went out. It's okay. You don't have to watch them all. That's all. But he's shaking his head, wondering how that didn't go out of the park.
His 12th double of the year. Howie Kendrick is the batter. And now Peterson will go to third on the wild pitch. So a double and a wild pitch. Two out, and Kendrick tonight is 3 for 4. And Howie Kendrick goes the other way, as he always does. Singles to right. Peterson comes in to score, and the Dodgers take a 7-1 lead. And for Kendrick, his 31st run batted into the year.
Well, Howie just gets a breaking ball here. Once again, stays back with it. That beautiful inside-out swing going the other way. Gets himself a nice 2-out RBI as we have a look there at the Morongo slow-mo cam.
So the Dodgers lead by 6. Brett Anderson is sitting in clover, and Justin Turner 0 for 3, a walk and a run scored.
You know, watching Howie the last few days, he reminds me of Derek Jeter.
Just always inside out.
Inside out. And wears out that right field line with bloopers and blasts. Never comes out of his game.
Well, Jeter had 3,000 and something hits, and probably about 2,500 of them were to right or right center.
Right.
Even though he didn't play defense, you know, nothing super spectacular, but just solid.
So here is Turner. The Dodgers have tacked on another run here in the 8th. They lead 7-1. And the Marlins have scored all of 3 runs in the last 35 innings or so. Time called by home plate umpire Mike Everett. Slow roller to short. Echeverria will go the long way. The sure way. Turner is retired. That ends the inning. But after 2 out, nobody on, Peterson narrowly misses a home run, gets a double, goes to third on a wild pitch. Kendrick singles him home, and the Dodgers lead 7-1 after 7.5.
Jack in the Box. Taste the new black pepper cheeseburger today, only at Jack in the Box. And by your Southern California Kia dealers. Visit mysocalkia.com to learn more.
Dodgers made some changes here in the bottom of the 8th. Puig, who came in to pinch hit, goes into right field. Van Slyke moves from right field to left field. Guerrero's out of the game. Adam Libator is now on in relief. The end of a terrific night for Brett Anderson. 1 run, 5 hits in 7 innings, 10 strikeouts and 1 walk. And Libator delivers a strike. 0-1 to JT Realmuto. Well, the Dodgers used 4 out of the bullpen yesterday and 5 on Wednesday. Libator did not pitch yesterday, so here he is. And so not only the quality of the performance by Brett Anderson, but the quantity does the Dodgers a big favor tonight. Line drive, 1 hop, scorching off the glove of Rollins. Real Muto with a base hit to lead off the 8th. Time for the DraftKings game summary. This is how we got here. Dodgers down 1 after 1, but Van Slyke a 2-run home run in the second. Gordon 3 for 3. Guerrero's knocked in 3. Kendrick 4 for 5 and a run batted in. But this night really belongs to Brett Anderson. Terrific pitching performance. And here is Ichiro. One of those rare athletes that needs no second name. His numbers on either side of the Pacific are astonishing. That's just on this side of the Pacific. In Japan, he had 1,278 base hits. Over here, he's close to 2,900.
He still seems as flexible as the day he came over. I was watching him around the batting cage today, getting ready. He sure takes care of his body.
And his routine has not changed.
The look on his face. How dare you call a strike on me?
Seemed outside from up here.
Yeah,
take a look at pitch tracks. We want it because we're wearing blue, but ball's out.
2-2 to Ichiro.
Ichiro might be thinking, listen, I've seen a lot of pitches in my day.
My eyesight is still good.
Yeah, and I can still see it.
And he's one of these guys, you think of him as a slap singles hitter. You watch him in batting practice, he can lose them in a hurry.
He doesn't hit any ground balls in batting practice. He's line drives, launching balls out of the park.
The way Wade Boggs was.
When he first came over to the United States playing for Seattle, and Lou Piniella was the manager, and Lou was not in favor of the signing hardly at all. He was watching him the first few games and things, and watching him around the cage, and Ichiro's just kind of flicking it over at shortstop and flicking it to left field. And after about 4 or 5 days, Lou goes, "Can you just show me if you can pull the ball?" And Ichiro put on a display. He goes, "All right, you just go back to doing your thing. I'm all in favor of this now."
But Lipitor gets him on strikes. Well, the Dodger bullpen certainly overworked the last couple of games, and tonight, relatively speaking, a busman's holiday with Lipitor in.
Well, guys, Brett Anderson did exactly what the Dodgers needed, especially with the amount of innings that the bullpen has pitched. Don Mattingly saying earlier that he would not hesitate to put in activated Pedro Baez into a high heat situation if need be, because probably J.P. Howell and Joel Peralta, among others, not available today. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case tonight, guys.
Although Baez now beginning to warm up, and that's really an ideal situation for him coming off the DL, come into an unpressurized situation.
Yeah, you'd love to get your sea legs back when the team is either way out of it or way on top. So the positive side tonight for Baez if he gets to work the ninth.
D. Gordon 3 for 3.
Remember when Kenley Jansen came back, he had one semi high leverage situation, and then all of a sudden they said, "We just need him. He's ready to close." And he's been almost perfect since being back. It really goes to show you what Don Mattingly and Rick Honeycutt thought about that game yesterday in Chicago, using Kenley for the 3rd time in a row with a 4-run lead. They really needed that split in Chicago.
The split that felt like a sweep.
It really did. It really built the foundation for this road trip to actually turn into a good road trip instead of a disastrous road trip. They go 0-3 and then go into that game 4, or they go 1-3 coming out of Chicago with the bullpen kind of burn up.
Yeah, and you lose with Kershaw and Greinke on the mound.
And then the beleaguered bullpen, which was so great yesterday and the day before, and Liberatore picking up where they left off. He's got 2 strikeouts, and Yelich takes high and away, 1 ball, no strikes.
And you mentioned about Kenley, throwing 3 days in a row, which once again is just what a great start here by Brett Anderson. So hope possibly they don't need to bring in Kenley today, the way this game is looking so far.
Oh, and those 2 are coming up next. So now we've got a chance to be 3-2 on this road trip and have Clayton and Zach about to go. That could really turn it into a real nice trip.
And when Greinke and Kershaw lost in consecutive games in Chicago, first time all year they had lost back-to-back games. And so Bolsinger and Frias would start, but the bullpen in the last 2 games told the story. And tonight it was Anderson telling the story, and Liberatore trying to add some punctuation to it, and Baez warming up, looking ready for the ninth.
It's going to be really hard for Yelich to lay off a slider away right now after having that liberal strike call. Ichiro's had a big outside corner. He was up there. Yelich now thinking that's big out there.
Strike 3, that's that. Liberatore gives up a leadoff single to Realmuto and then strikes out the side. We'll go to the 9th inning, and the Dodgers are leading it 7-1. A 7-1 lead as we head to the 9th, and time to look at the Dodgers calendar presented by 76. Back with you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Kershaw and Kohler. Sunday, a little after 10 in the morning Pacific time, Zach Greinke and Jose Urena. And then it's on to Arizona, where the temperatures are in the teens. It's generally not a good idea to be in a place where the temperature's in the teens, with or without the one in front. But we'll be playing, of course, under the big top in Phoenix. Here's Sam Dyson, his 34th appearance. A 7-run, 12-hit performance for the Dodger offense tonight. They scored 10 on Sunday. Here's Gonzalez leading it off. Scored 11 runs in the 4 games in Chicago. So flexing their muscles against the Marlins tonight. Gonzalez 2 for 3. Well, the Dodger pitching tonight has told the story. 13 strikeouts altogether. 10 of the last 12 outs by Dodger pitching have been strikeouts. So Mattingly and his bench coach Tim Wallach feeling a lot better about life than they did about 3-4 days ago. Gonzalez down on strikes. The ebbs and flows of a long season.
Well, the Dodger offense has woken up. 5 runs, 4 runs, and now 7 tonight. That 7 was the total runs that Brett Anderson had gotten in the 6 starts prior to getting 10 in his last 2. He got 7 tonight and 10 in the one before. And prior to that, the 6 starts prior to that, he got a total of 7 runs over those 6 starts.
And tonight, playing with house money.
He even drove one in himself.
With his 2nd hit of the year.
What an athlete.
Van Slyke, a 2-run home run. And a chopper to 3rd. He's done. There's 2 out.
Not even a peep out of my.
I'm going to stay tight-lipped on that one when he said what an athlete.
Okay. Pitchers are all athletes.
We'll just agree to disagree. Not all of them.
Now Alberto Callaspo pinch hitting. And we will see Pedro Baez in the 9th. Ian Thomas sent out. And Callaspo bloops one into left field for a base hit. Callaspo, since coming to the Dodgers, is hitting near 300. 15 for 50. And Jimmy Rollins coming up.
This is that at bat that's going to make Jimmy feel good about the night if he gets a hit here. 2 for 5 feels a lot better than 1 for 5. Starting to get his average up over 200.
At the moment, 210. He drove in a couple of runs with a base hit back in the 4th. A.J. Ellis on deck. Into right. Stanton is there. And that'll do it. Last licks for the Marlins. Dodgers 3 outs away from their 42nd win of the year. Ballot now at Dodgers.com/vote. Voting is exclusively online and available on your computer, tablet, and smartphone. Vote up to 35 times at Dodgers.com/vote. So here's Pedro Baez. Last pitched about 6 weeks ago. And it was against the Marlins back at Dodger Stadium. Missed 41 games. Right pectoral strain. Pitched 3 scoreless innings in 3 games during his rehab assignment at Oklahoma City. The last 7 outs recorded by Dodger pitching against this Marlin offense have all been strikeouts. Echeverria leading it off, and he fouls it back, and it's 0-1. So Lipitor goes 1 inning, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts, 17 pitches, 13 for strikes. And all the relievers who worked so hard the last 2 games all had the night off tonight. And there's a strike. It's 0-2. Scoreboard is asking the fans to make some noise, but the organ is making more noise than the fans. Did it go around? Yep. The last 8 outs by Dodger pitching have been strikeouts.
Pedro Baez just coming right at him with a fastball up and in. Echeverria unable to hold up his swing.
15 of the 25 outs recorded by Dodger pitching tonight, strikeouts. Stanton has been fanned twice. Every Marlin has been struck out tonight with the exception of Real Muto. So it's been a dominating pitching performance for Messrs. Anderson, Lipitor, and now Baez. Ozuna on deck. One ball and 1 strike. Giants and the Rockies get underway in about a half hour. Dodger lead at the moment is 1. He's not shy about swinging.
97-mile-an-hour fastball. He tried to turn around right there. Pedro missed his spot, but good stuff. A little bit of a tail. Really right down there in the sweet spot, Stanton's.
Just outside.
I think this was right there. Just barely caught it on pitch tracks.
3-2 to Stanton. Whew. That's 9 strikeouts.
Well, Pedro Baez is coming off the DL, but he looks like he is healthy, especially at that 98-mile-an-hour fastball. And it looks like Stanton may have hurt something just a little bit after that swing.
Right wrist?
No.
The last 9 outs recorded by the Dodgers have been strikeouts. Lipitor struck out the side in the 8th.
Anderson in the 7th struck out the side, and in the 6th, Anderson struck out 2 of the 3. One ball and 1 strike. So Pedro Baez back on the hill for the first time in almost 6 weeks. 98.
98 at the knee. We can live with that. He's healthy and looking good. Take a look at this BB. That's unfair. He's throwing a 91-mile-an-hour changeup. And he hits it off the end of the bat. He's got to be early.
One ball, 2 strikes. Dodgers 1 strike away. And the last 10 outs of the game, strikeouts by Dodger pitching. A dominating performance tonight for the Dodgers as they rout the Marlins 7-1. Anderson struck out a career high 10. Libator struck out the side in the 8th. Baez strikes out the side in the 9th. So the Dodgers win it 7-1. 7 runs, 13 hits, no errors. Miami 1 run, 6 hits and no errors. The Lexus player of the game, Brett Anderson. He went 7, gave up 1 run and 5 hits, struck out 10, walked only 1. Stanton, one of his 10 victims. He got nothing but ground balls with the exception of 1 outfield fly, and it took a terrific catch by Jock Peterson. And oh, by the way, Anderson, his 2nd hit of the year, knocked in a run. So the Dodgers improved their record to 42-33, a game-and-a-half lead on the Giants. So that's going to do it for us in Miami. For Alana Rizzo, Nomar Garcia-Parra, Oral Hershiser, Charlie Steiner saying good night and goodbye. We'll send it to Access Sportsnet Dodgers next. Brought to you by Nissan. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.